Hello bookworms and welcome to my channel. My name is Stacy. Today I just want to start off by saying thank you to anyone who's already watched my first video and anyone who has subscribed. I just want to say I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me and thank you from the bottom of my heart. I do have a new camera, so I'm actually hoping that the quality on this will be a lot better than the first one. I apologize for that. Yes, so hopefully the quality on this one's a lot better. Anyways, today I have part 2 of my Bookoutlet book haul. If you missed my first video, I'll actually link it in the comments down below. But in that first video I talked about how I had accumulated 120 books. I accumulated all these books basically from the end of September to the end of December. Now I am going to try and do this video a little bit different than last time because last video was 30 minutes and I honestly think that's too long. I don't like watching a 30-minute video, so I'm pretty sure people don't want to see a 30-minute video from me either. So I'll try and get through this as quickly as I can. So let's just get into it. And the first 2 books I have to show you actually came as a box set, and that is The Red Queen and The Glass Sword. And the next book I have to show you is called Forbidden. I'm just going to read the inside flap here. It's pretty short. Love knows no bounds. Locha and Maya have always felt more like friends than siblings. Together they have stepped in for their unreliable alcoholic mother to take care of their 3 younger siblings. The stress of their lives and the way they understand each other so completely has brought them closer than 2 siblings could ordinarily be. So close that they have fallen in love. They know their relationship is wrong and cannot possibly continue. And yet they are powerless to stop what feels so incredibly right. Definitely a book that is considered to be taboo, but I've heard so many great reviews about it. Can't wait to pick it up. And the next book I have to show you is called The Hating Game. And in this book we follow our 2 main characters, Lucy and Josh, and they work together at a publishing firm, but they absolutely hate each other. And then one day they are actually competing against each other for a promotion, and they soon discover that they actually don't hate each other as much as they thought they did. The next book I have to show you is We Are the Ants, and in this book we follow our main character Henry, who actually gets abducted by aliens. These aliens tell him that the world is actually going to end unless he presses the big red button. The only problem is that Henry doesn't know whether or not he actually wants to push the red button. I know it doesn't sound like the best description of a book, but I've heard so many positive rave reviews about this that I just had to pick it up. The next book I had to show you is called Caraval, and this is by Stephanie Garber. I'm sure everybody's seen this book, so I'm not going to talk about it at all. But I have to say I absolutely love the cover. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Okay, and the next book I have to show you is Wink, Poppy, Midnight. So I'm just going to read the inside because that's basically what got me intrigued. And it says, every story needs a hero. Every story needs a villain. Every story needs a secret. 2 girls, 1 boy, 1 summer, 1 bad thing. What really happened? Someone knows, someone is lying. That right there definitely sounds interesting and intriguing. Okay, and the next book I have to show you is Furthermore. And I picked this book up a lot of because of the cover and a lot of it because of the awesome reviews. And the next 2 books I have to show you, I'm not sure if they're a series or a trilogy, but I only have 2 of them. And that is Reign of Shadows and Rise of Fire by Sophie Jordan. And the next 2 books I have to show you are part of a series by a very popular author that I'm sure all of you have heard of before. And that is A Gathering of Shadows. And this is book number 2. And book number 3, A Conjuring of Light by V.E. Schwab. Now I don't have book number 1 in this series yet. I've been waiting for book 1 of the series to go on sale at Bookoutlet. I haven't seen it on there yet, but I'm the type of person that I like to have the whole series before I start reading it so I can just kind of binge read it all at once. I'm old, so for me to go a whole year before I can get book number 2, chances are I'm going to forget that first book. And the next 3 books I have to show you are part of a trilogy. Burn for Burn, Ashes to Ashes, and Fire with Fire, all by Jenny Han. I'm just going to read the back here. Lilia, Kat, and Mary are not friends. In fact, they barely know one another. But a chance encounter in the girls' room provides they have something big in common. The girls have all been hurt by a bully, an ex-friend, and almost boyfriend. And now they want payback. They hatch a scheme to work in secret to help each other right the wrongs. Forget waiting for karma. They're taking matters into their own hands. Definitely sounds interesting. And the next book I have to show you, I haven't really seen anybody talk about it on BookTube before, and it is called Modern Monsters. And in this book we follow our main character Vic, who considers himself to be invisible at school. And one night he decides to go to this party, and something terrible happens to Callie. And Kelly tells police that Vic is responsible for whatever this is. And at school, these students, they talk behind his back, they cause violence towards him, and this book is just basically about him trying to prove his innocence. And the next 2 books I have to show you, I believe they're part of a trilogy, but I only have the first 2. And that is Queen of Hearts and Blood of Wonderland. I think the covers on these books are absolutely beautiful, which is what draws my attention to them. And I've also heard rave reviews, so I can't wait to read them. To show you are called Dorothy Must Die and The Wicked Will Rise. I'm pretty sure these books are part of a series, but offhand I can't remember exactly how many are in the series. I've just heard amazing reviews about them, and I thought I'd just pick them up and give them a try. And the next 2 books I have to show you are by a very popular author, so I'm sure many of you have heard of them already. And the first one is called The Distance Between Us, and The Fill-In Boyfriend, all by Casey West. Now, I haven't ever read any of her books, but I'm curious to give them a try and see what they're about. And the next books I have to show you I got as a box set. I've already taken them out of the box. But they are Since You've Been Gone, Second Chance Summer, and Amy and Roger's Epic Detour, all by Morgan Matson. Now, I haven't ever read any of Morgan Matson's books, but again, they've been talked a lot about on YouTube. People seem to really enjoy them, so I thought I'd pick them up and give them a try. And the next book I have to show you is called Children of Eden, and I just have to say how much I absolutely love this cover. I think it's gorgeous. I love the colors. That's definitely what got me to pick it up. And the next book I have to show you is called Living Dead Girl, and this is by Elizabeth Scott. I'm going to just read the back here. The thing is, you can get used to anything. You think you can't, you want to die, but you don't. You won't, you just are. This is Alice. She was taken by Ray 5 years ago. She thought she knew how her story would end. She was wrong. Now, I've already read this book. Like I said before, it's really short. I was able to read it in a day. I'm guessing most people could probably sit down and read it in one sitting. But I believe I gave it 4 stars. And without giving away too much about the story, it's just basically her being held captive and how her story ends. The next book I have to show you is called The Kind Worth Killing. And this is by Peter Swanson. And this book is a mystery thriller. And the next book I have to show you is called Thank You for Your Service. Now, I believe this is also a movie. I haven't seen it yet, but I probably will after I've read the book. And I'm just going to read just a little paragraph of what it says inside. Thank you for your service is an act of understanding, and it offers a more complete picture than we have ever had of these 2 essential questions. When we ask young men and women to go to war, what are we asking of them? And when they return, what are we thanking them for? Definitely sounds interesting, so I'm quite eager to actually get reading this one. And the next 2 books I have to show you are actually part of a series. I can't remember how many are in the series. I'm going to guess 5 or 6, but I could be wrong. But anyways, we have Anne of the Island and Anne of Avonlea. Obviously I'm missing the first one, which is Anne of Green Gables. I was actually hoping to find this particular cover of Anne of Green Gables on Bookoutlet, but it hasn't been on there yet. So I'm probably going to have to break down and buy it somewhere else. But growing up, Anne of Green Gables was one of my favorite movies. I watched it several times. I don't think I ever read the books though, so I thought this would be a perfect time to pick them up and try them. And the next book I have to show you is called This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. The next books I have to show you are book 2 and 3 of a trilogy, and that is The Rose Society and The Midnight Star, both by Marie Lu. Now I do have the first one here, and it's called The Young Elites. The main reason I picked up these 3 books is basically just because of the author. Marie Lu is very popular. I've heard amazing things about her books. And the next books I have to show you are Anna Dressed in Blood and Girl of Nightmares by Kendar Blake. Now the only thing, I haven't read these books yet, but the only thing I don't like about them is the print inside is actually red. I don't know how that's going to work for me. Might make my eyes go all googly, but who knows, we'll give them a try and we'll find out, see what happens. The next book I have to show you, I was so happy when I saw it come available on Bookoutlet. I've been waiting patiently for it, and when I saw there's only 3 in stock, I scooped it up right away. And that is Heartless by Melissa Myers. And another popular book I picked up is Scythe. Again, I've heard amazing things about this book, as well as the second one. I believe the second one has just come out. It's called Thunderhead, so I look forward to reading it. And the next book I have, I just kind of stumbled across it on Bookoutlet. It was only $2, so I said, why not? Pick it up and we'll give it a try. And it's called The Stranger on the Train. And in this book, we follow Emma, who for whatever reason has accidentally left her 13-month-old son on a train. She goes to the police to tell them what has happened. They don't really believe her, they don't really help her at all. And then she starts telling other people her story, and they don't believe her either. So basically now Emma is on her own to try and find her missing son. I definitely think it sounds intriguing, so I can't wait to pick it up and read it. The next book I have to show you is called The Help. I'm sure many of you have read this one. I read it myself. It's definitely one of my all-time favorite books. I'm pretty sure I gave it 5 stars. Now I did own it before, and for whatever reason I decided to get rid of it. I don't know why I'm kicking myself for doing it now, but now I was able to get a hard copy. I'll probably read this one sometime in the near future, but I do look forward to adding it to my collection. And the next book I have to show you is called Everything Everything. This looks like it's a fairly short novel. I've heard a lot of amazing things. I can't wait to pick it up and read it. And the next book I had to show you is called A Madness So Discreet. I heard a lot of great reviews on this. A lot of people have been talking about it, so I thought I'd pick it up. And the next book I have to show you is called The Last Magician. And I have to say I absolutely love this cover. It's a huge book. It's a lot bigger than I had expected. And the next 2 books I have to show you are book 2 and I believe book 3 in, it's either a trilogy or maybe it's even a series, I don't know. As far as I know, there's only 3 books out, and that is Mark of the Plague and The Assassin's Curse. Now I do have the first one, and it's called The Blackthorn Key. I don't know a lot about what this book or this series is about. What I've heard is that there's a lot of murders going on. But it's up to our main character to follow the clues and crack the codes to find out who's doing all the murders. I also do believe these books are middle grade, but I've heard great reviews. They're a lot of fun. I can't wait to get into this series. And the next book I have to show you again is very popular on BookTube, and that is called Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. And if you've already read this book and you're looking for the second one, I believe it's called God's Grave. It is available on Bookoutlet, and as soon as I put my next order in, I'm definitely going to pick it up. The next book I have to show you is called All the Ugly and Wonderful Things. Now, I've heard people refer to this as disturbing and taboo, And as soon as I heard that, I'm like, I have to have this book. So I picked it up, and I'm so looking forward to reading it and seeing what it's all about. And the next book I have to show you is called Like It Never Happened. And I'm just going to read the back here. I had the thought that falling in love was a decision. Like first you noticed a boy was cute and smart and had good taste in movies. He kissed you and it occurred to you to love him. If a certain amount of time passed and nothing went wrong, then congratulations, love. But apparently, that was not how it worked at all. Apparently, love happened accidentally and without warning, and at the exact moment you were supposed to get out of the car. Definitely sounds like a nice, light, fluffy read. The next book I have to show you is called Don't Look Back. And in this book we follow our main character, Samantha. And one night Samantha and her best friend, Casey, disappear. And then one day Samantha just resurfaces without any knowledge of what happened that night. Upon returning back, she starts to piece her life together and discovers that she wants nothing to do with the life that she had before she disappeared. And the next book I have to show you is Emmy and Oliver. I've heard amazing things about this book, so I can't wait to read it. And the next book I have to show you is called The Silver Gate. And if I remember correctly, it's actually a middle grade book. Yep, it's middle grade. We follow our main character, whose sister, Wynne, was born with some developmental delays. And in this village, anytime a baby is born with developmental delays, they are to be abandoned. And Wynne's mother decides to keep her and keeps her hidden away for years. And then Wynne and her brother's father returns, and they must flee to get away from him. And the safe place to go is called the Silver Gate. I thought it sounded interesting, so I thought I'd pick it up and give it a go. And the next book I have to show you is called Chasing Forgiveness. This is actually a pretty short book, so I think it'd be pretty quick to get through. But anyways, we follow our main character, Preston. And at the age of 12, he finds out that his father has killed his mother. Fast forward 2 years, Preston turns 14 and his father is released from jail. So this book is about whether Preston can actually forgive his father and move on from this tragedy. I'm definitely curious to read this book because I honestly don't know how I would feel if I was in this situation. So I'm curious to see how it goes and how it plays out. And then I have Far From You. And in this book we follow our main character, Sophie, who has lost her best friend, meaning her best friend has died, to a drug deal that has gone wrong, a deal that they think Sophie has set up. And Sophie and her best friend shared a secret, and it had nothing to do with a drug deal. It definitely sounds intriguing, so I look forward to reading it. The next book I have to show you is called The Imposter Queen, and this is by Sarah Fine. And in this book we follow our main character who has grown up thinking that she will have power and thinking she is the chosen one. And then she finds out she isn't the chosen one, so this book just follows how she deals with that. And I just found this out, but this book is part of either a trilogy or a series. I'm not sure which one, but I know for sure there are at least 2 other books. And the next book I have to show you is called 13 Little Blue Envelopes, and that is by Maureen Johnson. And in this book we follow our main character, Ginny, who has received a letter from her deceased aunt. And in this letter it gives her $1,000 for a passport and a plane ticket. Her aunt gave her these things because she wants her to travel across Europe. And as she's traveling across Europe, that's how she'll discover the 12 other letters from her aunt. So I'm curious to see what these letters say and how her trip goes. The next book I decided to pick up is called In Real Life. And in this book we follow our 2 main characters, Hannah and Nick, and they're best friends. They talk on the phone every day, they spoil each other with gifts. The only thing is they've never met. And then one day Hannah decides to take a road trip and she's going to surprise Nick. And when she gets there, she finds out that Nick has actually been keeping some pretty major secrets. I'm definitely curious to see what these major secrets are, how she deals with them, and what becomes of their relationship. And the next 2 books I decided to pick up are The Wrath and the Dawn. and The Rose and the Dagger. Both very popular books, both talked a lot about on BookTube. The next two books I'm going to show you are both by the same author, but they are both part of two different series. And the first one is Trials of Apollo, and the second one I have to show you is Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard, The Sword of Summer. Definitely a long title on that one. But both of these books are by Rick Riordan. I'm actually hoping to collect all his books in all of his series. The next two books I want to show you are part of a series, but I only have book 1 and book 2. And that is The Program and The Treatment. And in this book, teen suicide has become an epidemic, and the only solution is what they refer to as the program. The program cures teen depression by erasing their memories. So we follow our two main characters, Salone and James, as they fight to try and stay out of the program. And the next book I had to show you is called Mortal Dangers. Now, I saw somebody else talk about this on BookTube, and I just read the inside flap, and it says, "Revenge is a dish best served cold." And that right there is definitely what caught my attention. So basically this book is about a young boy who's being teased and tormented by his bullies, and then one day he finds the power to get revenge on them. I'm definitely all about reading about a revenge story, so I look forward to picking it up. The next book I decided to pick up is called Other Unbreakable Things. We follow our main character, who we have learned has just had a heart transplant, but he's become ill again, and death is actually just right around the corner. Luke decides he'd like to die with dignity, which is actually legal in Oregon. Luke decides to go on a road trip with his best friend to Oregon. So this book is just basically about their road trip and how he spends his last few days. Another book I decided to pick up is Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. I've heard a lot of positive reviews, so I look forward to picking it up. I also picked up I'll Give You the Sun, and this is about a set of twins, Noah and Jude, who are extremely close, who are pretty much inseparable, and then something happens that tears them apart. So it's about them finding themselves, finding each other, and learning to be happy. And the last book I had to show you is called All the Bright Places. In this book we follow our two main characters, Noah and Finch, who actually meet on the edge of a bell tower. Finch talks Violet out of jumping, so this book is basically about them growing individually and growing together. And that's all I have for you today. If you've read any of these books, or if there's any books that you recommend that I read first, just let me know down in the comments below. Also, if you liked my video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more from me, please hit the subscribe button. Until next time, happy reading! Bye!